Boy, I see you bounce pretty good, though.
What are you doing up there with
Bounce
nobody
pretty
on, Ron?
Who is?
You bounce pretty good there.
I mean, it just went on me all of a sudden. I said, "Oh, what the hell?" It was like the wheel was greased. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
What do you mean?
The three amigos.
This is City Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski with my two cohorts and friends, DJ.
And Ron Stemka.
Are you calmed down now this week, or?
No, I'm good. I'm going to listen to some.
I left the room and I heard you were you're on a roll.
Well, I see Patika passed away.
Yeah, that's kind of a shock. First of all, when he said he wasn't feeling good, that I wasn't feeling good the last couple of weeks, but you can almost. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. You mentioned casino earlier, and I just have one question. People down there at City Hall, elected officials, they get a set amount of vacation days, right?
No. Elected officials?
Yeah.
No, we get no vacation days at all.
Oh, well, that explains it. Because, I'm retired, and I go up to that casino a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm up there.
Well, you must have a lot of money to spend.
Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I see elected officials up there during the course of a day, and I'm thinking, well, what the hell? Don't they ever work?
You've never seen me there, have you? And you probably never will. But no, we have no days off. Well, now you got to be careful. Like, I won't ask you who you saw up there, but there's full-time elected officials and there's part-time. Council is considered part-time. Now, the treasurer, the controller, the mayor are considered full-time. I can't speak for the county. I don't know how they're set up. Was it city officials or county you saw?
No, it's city official.
Oh, okay. Well, there's not many of us. There's only the 7 councilmen, the treasurer, the controller, and the mayor.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so councilmen are considered part-time. It's not considered a full-time job, although, if you do it the way it's supposed to be, you are busy during the day. But we don't have an office at City Hall, and we don't have any job description to do all day. It's pretty much you come to council meetings, you have various other meetings, you have liaisons. That's a sweet
thing then to get elected to.
Well, not really. I mean, if you get depends what you're talking. If you're looking at the pay, a councilman only gets. I'm not saying only, but they get $6,000 a year.
Forget the councilman. I'm not talking about council. I'm talking about other elected official office.
Yeah, the ones upstairs, they vary from $38,000 up to the mayor, who's making about $90,000. Yes, that was. But when I was controller, I can promise you that I was in my office every day. And now, did I take vacation? Yes, I did. But there was no set vacation days for elected officials. They can, right or wrong, they can come and go as they please, but you have to answer to the public. And obviously, if you saw that, that doesn't make you happy. And that's why, I tried real hard not to, when I was at City Hall and I had an office and a position as controller, I pretty much was here every day when the young ladies in my office were here, and sometimes I came in at night. But I did take vacation, but there's no set number of days.
Well, at least you answered my question about vacation time. If they're not held accountable for how many.
Well, here's the thing you got to remember too: because you're an elected official, you get a set salary which never changes until the next election. But you don't get any overtime, so that goes with the job. So when you take the job, like controller, I was making $38,000. That's what you get. You don't get any more for working longer, and you don't get any more or any less for working less. But right or wrong, that's the way it is.
Yeah, there's no incentive there, is there?
But Well, when I ran for it, I knew what I was going to get, and I was happy. I loved the job. I would have still been controller. I would have loved to have been if I could have been. I was trained as an accountant. I love it. I love my job as councilman. I try to do as much as I can. But, there are differences, but you really shouldn't be, as an elected official, you should remember that, people expect something out of you. You shouldn't be up at the casino all the time. That doesn't bode well,
Absolutely. It makes you wonder.
Maybe if you want, you can call me off the air. I would never say anything. I'd be curious too, but, I think you do owe something to the public when you got a full-time job.
Yeah, that's my question here. As the former controller, what elected offices did you audit?
You audit everybody. Well, every day we audited. What happened? The way the job is set up in the city, there's a difference between the controller at the county and the controller at the city. The controller of the city has to pre-approve all bills. So basically, everything that was happening, all the payroll, all the bills of every day, all the purchases, everything went through that office first. So in effect, you pre-audited everything. And then, you work with the, in city government, the pension plans are audited by outside sources. So are some of the funds and the government grants. So you work with those auditors too, but the controller could audit any department at any time he wanted. And I would go up to what they would call economic development. I'd go to code enforcement. You go down to treasurer. Periodically we would audit her drawers to make sure she had all the funds. You can audit the way that things are done. You can make suggestions. The controller had a lot of power, but here in the city you actually audited every day, and if you didn't there were many times I didn't approve bills because they weren't done right. So in effect you audited 100% of the bills every day, 24/7.
So if there's an embezzlement issue, because the controller...
If you can spot it, and if there was one, are you talking about the one that happened here a little while ago? Ma'am?
No, I'm just talking hypothetically. If there's an embezzlement issue, then it's the onus of the controller to have caught it or not. Am I right?
Well, and yes, it depends on which department. Now, some departments, we had one here that happened a while back that the controller was not allowed into that office because that was a state office, even though it was in the domain of City Hall. But yes, and then embezzlement is tough. They do catch. Every once in a while we do catch people, and it's not as easy as it looks because we don't have a staff of 5 or 6 auditors out there. It's only the controller, his deputy, and then one other girl. So, and at the county, it's a completely different affair. They actually do post audits, which is a different thing. That you catch after the fact. But they've caught people around here embezzling, and the thing that happened in the garage, that was a case where you had a company involved, a company that was subcontracted to the city. So in effect, you can't audit their books. You can only audit the effect on the city. But it all showed up, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Why, do you have something that you're concerned about?
Not living in the area, I'm very concerned.
I mean, if you know of any fraud, people would always come up to me and give me, even though I'm not controller, I can always pass it on if you think there's some going on.
I would talk to you privately if I had sufficient evidence.
Okay, even if you don't, there are a lot of things that can happen, and I always told people I would never give their name out or anything.
Okay.
But if you want, call me off the air if you think there's something to concern.
A lighter note, DJ, what's going on with the shovel rake broom idea?
Well, I've been trying actually to create an organization or build an organization. It's actually kind of a national thing called Erie Makerspace. But it's called Makerspace in general, but we have an Erie Makerspace, and I'm trying to find a way to get enough people interested within my group to actually just start doing it.
We're trying to find, actually, we were looking at where DJ is now. We're going to try to get him, we're working on trying to get him another place. We're networking with various people in town here. So if anybody knows a building that, hopefully almost free.
Hopefully almost free, because right now we have about 400 square feet. We do not have the room to even take in the stuff if we could get people to donate.
I was very impressed with what you had there.
We have 400 square feet. It's very well organized, but there's just no room to fix, let's say, a lawnmower or to repair a shovel. We don't have room.
Yeah,
So
we got to get the word out there, get the Times involved, and maybe they can put in a public announcement on their newspaper or something. I think it's a really good idea, worthwhile, and I appreciate everything you've done so far.
I actually contacted the Erie Reader, and they have not gotten back to me, so I was kind of...
I'm surprised. The Erie Reader guys, I think, are just awesome. And
yeah, we got to find DJ another home, because what I saw in that room was there's a lot of positive things that could happen there, but he's really...
It's like working in a closet. Seriously, there's no way for us to do that. But it's part of something I wanted to roll the whole tool share thing into that.
I'm hoping maybe Mr. Griffin or Mr. Kennedy have some laying around somewhere.
Mr. Griffith said no, he didn't have anything but a 25,000 square foot building that he would rent to me, but I don't have anybody that would give us anything.
So if any of our listeners know any place out there that DJ and his people will keep it clean, and
we'll fix the value, we'll bring the value up, make it livable. Yeah.
You're moving right along, DJ. I appreciate your efforts.
We're trying. I'm keeping you in mind. I remember your call from back then, and I'm going to still try to make it happen.
All right, I'm going to let other people get on. So, Merry Christmas to all of you.
You too.
Merry Christmas to you, too. I like that.
Merry Christmas to you.
Why? What did he do?
I don't know, nothing. It's just Merry Christmas. I can say
Ronnie, you should have went with DJ and I went on a little ride about a few weeks ago. Yeah, we never got to talk about it.
I had shotgun.
We went around and we looked.
To bring my gun?
We looked at all the problem areas that we had on. Remember?
Yeah, we went down his list and we pulled into the bus stop that had like water, and we went to a bunch of different locations.
We looked at all different roads.
Noted everything and turned them all in, I guess, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how far is it going to go?
Well, some of them have been taken care of slowly, you know.
All you can do is keep pestering people, and eventually they'll get sick of hearing you.
How are we doing with the transit authority?
Pardon?
The transit authority.
Oh, we'll get back to that. That's a hot topic. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Go ahead. Can you hear us?
You there?
Greetings.
Something happened.
Yeah, lost it.
Yep. Transit
Call
authority,
back.
Nothing has changed. They had their meeting. They pretty much told us what they want to do. I'm on the council advisory committee. We will keep council informed. You know, we had one meeting with them. They pretty much told us what they wanted to do and what they were going to do, and they did it. They had their public meeting.
We had 50 people there.
Yeah.
What was brought up?
But my concern is the people of Erie, the effect on them. It's strange how we always talk about, what do you call it, metro government and all that, but...
That's where we have to go to. They take that, you might as well go to metro government.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Go ahead, that was you. Are you back, huh?
You're back.
Okay, I'll start off by saying the mayor and the city streets department did a pretty good job this summer of paving some of the streets, but unfortunately they don't listen to the right people. If they would listen to me and Ron Stemka, they'd be further ahead in the game.
Wow.
Davison Avenue looks beautiful from 28th Street up to 33rd Street.
Mm-hmm.
But from 34th Street up to 38th Street, it's a main north-south thoroughfare. It's starting to deteriorate already. It's got holes in it, cracks.
Yeah, we took a ride up there, didn't we? You and I did.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I couldn't figure why. They had the machines there, they had everything there. And
here's what I would advise you all next year to do, and you can start calling me now. I'll put this down. Start calling early so we can get these streets on the list. and then we can campaign for them. The neighbors are going to have to push hard, and I'll push hard at my end, because they will be, next year will be another aggressive paving project. So you're saying from 34th to 38th?
Yes.
And on East Avenue, another main north-south thoroughfare from 31st Street to 38th hasn't been touched in 8 years. It's just been patched and glued together for the last 8 years.
31st to 38th, that was done, that's that micro job they did. That's where they only put like a half a layer on there.
They sure took care of Green Garden Avenue, but not East Avenue. Of course, our good buddy Fred Rush said politics had nothing to do with that, which I'll dispute that with Freddie for the...
Has it been 7 years since they put that microcode on there?
I can't keep track of everything.
No, I think you're right, because I wasn't even on council then when they did that. That was a good 8 years ago.
I bet you it's 7, 8 years. They said all them streets are supposed to be ripped up, and they were supposed to give us the regular paving back, and they never did the East Avenue from 31st to 38th.
Well, they did what they called a micro job, and that wasn't good. That was basically they take a half a coat of, I shouldn't say, I'm not positive, but it's a less than what they would normally do. So we called it like a half a coat.
You mean on West 8th Street?
No, on East Avenue. That's what they did. They put they call it micro surface.
Or what about 8th Street? What they do out there with that new technique? And
that's probably it too. So you're saying that one, and then you're saying on Davidson from where now?
34th Street up to 38th. They did Davidson from 38th Street up to East Grandview. Why they would skip only 4 or 5 blocks like that is beyond my thinking.
So 34th to 38th, I'll put that down. But yeah, if you have any more, keep calling, because I noticed, I was driving around the other day and I noticed there was some really rough patches at different places. I've been marking them down. At least they can, blacktop them a little bit and patch them. But yeah, next year will be a whole nother thing, and
I don't know how much you have to scream down there at City Hall to get your streets done. I mean, we pay our taxes just as much as the West Siders do.
I know. They try to say that, sometimes I even disagree with them, that it's supposed to, they're trying to split it half and half, but...
They don't, believe me.
But, it brings us to a bigger problem, and I keep asking this question to the public. And I'm in favor, I know it's not popular, but we should probably either put aside so much tax money every year for road repair, a dedicated amount that it cannot be used for anything else but that, or we have to aggressively, find either some capital money through a bond issue or something. I don't like doing that, but there's a lot of roads out there that all we're doing is staying ahead of the trouble. But you know yourself, and I do too, that like even all those roads up by my house that were all tar and chip, they're not going to last too much longer either.
All right.
And they were only basically a little coat of asphalt. So we're looking at some major problems, and the trouble is, you hate to raise taxes, but
well, sometimes you have to.
Yeah, I don't know where, like the other day we looked at the liquid fuel money, and that's used to pay a lot of other things that one way or the other, whether you put it into roads or you put it into street lighting. It's
how much do we get on that a year?
I meant to bring it, and that varies from time to time with the state. It increased a little bit this year, but still, Ron, it's not enough to take it's not enough to take care of the problems. We use it for street lighting, we use it for equipment purchases, some of it for road repair. But this gentleman brings up a good thing. But looking at long range, all we're doing is staying ahead of the, how do you say, outrunning the tidal wave?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, like East Avenue. If you look under East Avenue, I think it's all, if I remember right, it's all concrete pad, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's concrete underneath there, yeah.
In the old days, you could feel thumping and lifting. So once that thin coat disappears, the problem is, you hate to say it, but East Avenue is a problem that you'd probably have to go in there and rip it all up, and it wouldn't be a cheap date, Yeah. But
our city officials are only thinking of East and West streets. They don't think of the North and South streets. These people just don't come in from Wattsburg or wherever and go down Pine Avenue and down Parade Street.
No. I mean, if you look at East Avenue, it's a major thoroughfare because it leads down into, a lot of people take it to go to church down there. They take it. There's some businesses down there, It's a shortcut to go down to, all the way down to, to the connector and all that.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's just like, I always tell, people make the roads. Like when I lived if you're on the west side, they have their roads. On the east side, we have our roads. Certain roads are key roads. And like you said, Davidson is one, Zimmerman's another one. East Avenue is one.
Ash Street, there's a whole bunch of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're all used for, they become the key roads. Now, I can understand they're not going to do mine all the time, but like East Avenue, that is a major artery.
Okay, well, I'll hang up and give somebody else a chance to call in, but...
Yeah, what I would tell you is that if you have any more, roads like that, feel free to call me, but people are going to start calling City Hall too, like the Public Works, and saying, we want our road on the list, and start pushing.
We could still use a turning lane there on East 38th Street into the Veterans Administration Hospital. You get 2 or 3 people turning in there, and that holds up the whole line of cars on...
Now, it used to be you couldn't turn left out of there, I believe, coming out of the VA.
I'm talking about turning into it when you're heading west on East 38th.
Okay, let me think. Okay, making a left-hand turn there.
You could easily cut out some of the boulevard and put a turning lane in there for about 3 or 4 cars, but of course, PennDOT or our traffic engineer couldn't think of that.
Well, that brings up an interesting point, because when I was told in about 2 years we're going to get some action on Pine Avenue for paving. That's when they have it scheduled. So Councilman Mirsky and I put on that we wanted a lot of the locations on there studied. So they're going to study 38th and Pine for a left-hand turn lane from where it's not now.
Yeah, that's another sore point, yeah.
And they're also looking at what's the next one down there? Old French Road. That's another one down there by the VA hospital.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll suggest that they go down further. I can add it on that PennDOT study to turn into the VA.
We could still use a second lane of traffic from on 38th Street from State Street to Glenwood Park Avenue. PennDOT, they didn't think when they took that from 4 lanes down to 1 lane that someday you're going to get a fire truck stuck there and somebody's going to die or have a house burned down because the fire truck couldn't get through that 1 lane of traffic.
So you're saying from on State Street, right?
Well, from State Street to Glenwood Park Avenue on 38th, they got 4 lanes going down to 1.
Yeah.
It gets backed up certain times of the day, not always, but certain hours.
That thing there from State to Glenwood Park Avenue, you're talking about East 38th Street, right?
Right.
That was, I had an argument with Bill Pettit about that. And I said, why when we were talking about redoing that road, do you remember that?
Oh yeah, well they just gave in to what the blue nosers wanted for that neighborhood. They just wanted 1 lane of traffic.
And that's kind of what he told me, because I had a friend that lived up on the hill, and she was told they were going to carve out her backyard. And she was okay with that. They were going to put in 4 lanes all the way. In that little stretch you're talking about, sir?
Right.
And, everybody said, if they did that, nobody would speed as much because they wouldn't have to. But what happens now is I watch people, they speed to get into that lane so they can get ahead of somebody, and it's actually counterproductive what they're doing. And he said basically that was it, that the neighbors didn't want it, and the city didn't push the issue.
I don't know why PennDOT came up with that plan.
They didn't. I guess they had another plan, but they always work with the local government, and the local government was intimidated by some of the neighbors.
Exactly.
And so they didn't press the issue, and PennDOT said, if you don't want it, we do what you want, And they tried to work with the local communities. They called it historic up there. That's how they got around it.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's how they, they said it was, but, really, 1 more lane wouldn't have hurt up there, and I think it would have calmed traffic down.
Oh, yes, that's all they would have had to do. We wouldn't be having these complaints about 38th Street.
Yeah, I agree with you, But, that didn't happen, and, well, we do a lot of that here. If you watch the Bayfront Highway, it comes all the way down heading north, and then you got to cut down into 1 lane.
Yeah, well, that's another good example, right?
Yeah, I don't know why we have so much of that in Erie. It's like, it doesn't make sense. You crimp everybody. Even on Parade Street, you come across Parade and then you got to go under the bridge at, what is it, 19th or 20th there, it's
16th and Parade, yeah.
16th and Parade, yeah, and you almost have an accident every night.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Okay, it's nice talking to you, gentlemen.
Hey, you too, and feel free if you have any more roads you want to talk about, call me and I'll put them on the list for next year.
Okay, I don't mind speaking up for my fellow citizens.
No, you should. You know what? Remember, the people are really the city. It's not the elected officials or the people that work here.
Right.
But if you're quiet, nothing gets done. So.
Exactly.
Hey, thanks for calling, though.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
I got to make a note here before you guys can talk if you want while I do this.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ron, how's it going?
Yeah, there you go. Come on.
What's up with phone call.
Phone call.
Want to take that one? Go ahead.
Taxpayers Hotline. How can we help you?
They laid the concrete on East Avenue in 1959.
Wow.
In April, because I moved into my house and I got stuck with paying the bill.
1959. Wow.
Wow.
I was 10 years old then, roughly, about 11.
And one other thing, you better do something with East Avenue from 38th to Pine Avenue. They got cars parking on both sides. You can't hardly get through there. A lot of college kids up there.
It's time to get tickets out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I never thought about that. That's right. Let me mark that down. East Avenue from 38th to Pine.
That's the only area. East Avenue is not one way.
Is there any signs up there?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, is there any signs up there?
Nope. Nothing.
You know what? We had the same problem on Briggs and Lewis. We're getting that straightened out slowly. We had to educate the kids. They didn't understand what that meant. No parking Tuesday, stuff like that. So we'll have I'll get together with Councilman Mirsky because that's our area, and we'll have the traffic engineers study that. Because I think you're right. I remember I go up there every once in a while, not too often because I live a couple blocks east of there.
And they park.
Yeah, it's bad getting up there.
Cars park opposite one another. You can hardly get, a fire truck will never get through there.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is, and I got it at the bottom of my hill now. They sold a house to, and I believe it's college kids in there. So, I don't know what they're going to do in winter. Right now they're parking up on the grass. So, when the snow hits, they're not going to park up there when they're plowed in. But there's just too many kids, and this goes back to code enforcement that there's too many people living in those houses.
Yep.
And there's too many cars,
That micro finish that they put on East Avenue, every spring I got to rake my lawn.
With the debris from there?
It's all coming up all over the place.
When did they do that? That was about 8 or 9 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. I watched them do it. It was ridiculous.
Well, they told us I wasn't on council, but I remember they told council at the time, and I was sitting in one of their meetings. They said they ran out of money towards the end of the year, and they wanted to stretch the funds, so they tried the microsurfacing. And although it smoothed it a little bit, it's not perfect,
I watched them do it. It comes out as a liquid. Then they smooth it out with a big piece of burlap.
Yeah, it's a very thin coat.
Yep.
Hey, when they did that road, didn't they put it in deep enough or what?
What's that?
The concrete base when they did that.
Well, don't forget they ran that sewer line down East Avenue.
Yeah, they had to dig that up again.
But screwed it up.
Yeah, that's the one that Mill Creek had to pay for?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a major, I go down, you live on East Avenue?
They do.
Yeah, I go past there a lot because I head down to Holy Rosary and I do, just heading, it's a major road for me to head north anytime I do anything.
I see you there once in a while.
Say hello to me then.
So
Give me a slap in the back of the head.
You got to do something with East Avenue. I call it the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Yeah, it is amazing that people don't understand that, some roads are really important, and that's one of them. That is a major artery.
I called the streets department about a month ago because I happened to go visit my neighbor across the street, and there was 2 areas where if you had a small pry bar, you could just pick up big hunks of concrete where they're just laying in there.
Jeez. Wow.
So they came out and they blacktopped it. I don't know how that's going to work in the wintertime. Okay, that's all I have.
Well, I'll put it back down again, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get some traction on it, but, feel free to call City Hall and complain about it too, because that helps.
Yeah. Okay then.
Yeah, tell your neighbors, call and complain a little bit.
Okay, have a happy holiday, guys.
Have a Merry Christmas too. I'm in the Christmas mood.
Good. I forgot my Christmas hat.
Go ahead, caller.
You wanted me to call you if I saw a street sweeper without water?
Another one?
This morning on 28th Street between German and Parade. He was on the south side.
Wait a minute, you're going too quick. 28th between German...
Parade.
Right.
Going down to Parade from above. On the south side, no water.
South side of
They were doing the south side of the road.
that would be on 28th Street, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I see they did a wonderful job on 38th Street from State over to Old French. And the dirt is still there. Maybe you ought to get a hold of the vets over there and they can come out and sweep it up themselves.
The dirt is still there? I just went by. I've turned it in, but I went by it. It's still there, right?
Well, naturally, well, sure.
Okay.
These guys can't do multiplexing.
That's on the south side, wasn't it, you told me?
That's right.
South side of 38th from State to where was it?
Old French.
Okay. I'll go upstairs after I get done here.
Got to turn the water on there and sweep it up. Maybe I'll have to get out and empty his shaker bin.
Well, I don't know why they're supposed to. They tell me they're supposed to turn the, I thought they weren't running the water for some reason, but they said they're supposed to,
Well, that would keep the dust down and wouldn't wreck my $13 car wash.
$13? Where do you go?
I go up to Delta Sonic.
You're getting one down there, aren't you?
Inside and outside, they did a great job.
We never get one on our side of town, will we?
Delta Sonic? I don't think so. Baldwin did a great job on that Niagara.
Is that what that's going to be, a Niagara?
Yeah, it is. Niagara Car Wash. And I'll tell you what, Pamela can thank that man, and even Pizza Hut, it's lit up like a Christmas tree down there. He did a wonderful job.
Wow, when did he put the lights on? I was just by there. I must have missed them.
Oh, they've been on for the last week or so, 2 weeks. And while we're talking about that, right down McCain Avenue, north on 38th Street by the post office, there's holes in there that will knock front ends off of people's cars they wouldn't believe.
Where now, John?
McCain Avenue.
Kane, north of 38th.
North of 38th Street. You're talking chunks of concrete. And we had all that wonderful money to do the paving. And you want to take up another bond, did I hear you say?
No, I said, you see, this is where, I said to attack the road issue, you got to do it one of two ways. Okay, John?
Yeah, I suggested you ought to put a mill tax on.
I said that. Didn't I say that earlier?
Yeah, well, I heard you say that, but I know you
I said there's only two ways, and I don't like bond issues. So I said, if you hate to do the tax route, but if we were to dedicate, you have to be careful with millage, because millage, you might not collect it all, but if you set a figure down to roughly equal to the millage, like say whatever you want to put aside every year, a fixed amount that you get through tax, but it's a dedicated portion of it. You can do that. You can say, like, we want to put, $1 million a year aside, whatever it is, and it can't be used for anything else but that.
Roads, right.
That's what the only way I look at the problems. I mean, the city's deteriorating because it's old. I mean, let's face it.
It's true.
And age is age. I mean, Mill Creek's going to have the same problem someday. And you can't, everything's nice when the roads are new, but you start like that gentleman said. 1958, they paved that road, right?
Well, they didn't do ours up here since about 1978.
Yeah, who did that? Joyce, wasn't it?
I don't know. It must have been her.
Yeah, because I remember I had tar and chip, and man, it was dirty in my house. You get that dust flying up.
They came in and scratched it down, then they put a rough coat, then they came in with a smooth coat. But you can't expect it to last when you're only using 3 inches of total.
No, I look in front of my house now. Some of my street is in good shape, but a lot of it's what I call those spider cracks.
Yeah, and they just keep spreading because they're using salt and And they never used salt before. They had brine, and that's when they had the salt boxes out in front of every manhole.
Well, yeah, here's the problem. They say they don't like to use salt, but what do you do in wintertime when you're on a hill?
That's true, and I understand they're going to put cinder boxes out this winter in a few locations. I don't recall.
Well, they don't like cinders, because, and I can understand that, because then you have to clean out the sewers.
True. Well, they're not cleaning the sewers out anyways.
No, but we've gotten to the point where, people say, they talk about the budget. We don't have a lot of workers anymore,
Yeah, but I can give you go with the police overtime budget, their overtime budget, and I have nothing against it.
Yeah.
Guys are working their tails off, yet the budget for overtime is exceedingly high. Why don't they hire a few more people and eliminate the overtime budget?
Okay, here's what we found out. We asked that question at the budget session. Because people think, we don't ask, but we did.
I didn't see too much asking going around.
Well, I asked, you must have missed it, because I said, when they were up there and we were talking with police and fire, that was the second day, I said, how much would it cost to put more men on the street? Okay? Now, the figure they tossed at us, John, was, and this includes everything, outfitting. Okay, when you're talking to firemen, you're talking about all his gear and everything that we pay for.
$100,000 a man.
About $129, $130 for a police and fireman.
Is that an incoming figure, or a figure after they've been there for a while?
That's what they figure the average is, taking the high and the low guy. It costs about $129,000. If you take their budget, divide by the number of men they got, okay, a straight average, it's about $129,000 to $130,000. That's his pension, his health benefits.
Talking what, 70% of the city's budget goes to fire and police?
Well, a lot of it is. I mean, that's our biggest thing, That and when you get into street repair and public works, that's really, the city's about service, where the county's more about social things,
True.
And so, we have a different way. We have to look at, our job is, we're more concerned with public safety and fixing the road structure. But at $130,000, now think of this, John. Each shift, to make one man on the street, you really need 3, correct?
True.
So, already you do the math. On that one, you're at $390,000. But they tell you that because of illness, because of vacations, that number is really like 5.6. So, just to put another man on the street, you got to hire about 5.6. This is why, after the holiday, I'm writing a letter. I'm going to have it published. I hope they publish it like I want it.
They won't.
And I think it's time that the nonprofits outside of Hammond and Vincent, who are at least giving us one half, but it's time that some of the bigger nonprofits have to come into the fold and participate in our public safety.
Well, I hear they're going to call downtown Erie Gannon.
Well, that's what it's coming to. I mean, you look at Gannon's had some problems with some of their kids being, with crime.
Well, all universities do.
Right. So you know what? It's time that they, the housing authority, they pay for a couple of our police officers.
True, and they still give you money.
Right. They got a program, and there's no reason why the colleges can't. And all the nonprofits. Look, I'm not calling it a tax, because that's ugly. Nobody wants to hear that, and you're going after all these. But it's time that the nonprofits share in the burden of our.
If they're making profit, they should go better. You got Lecom that gave you like $300,000 a few years ago.
Now remember, Hammond and Vincent are the two biggest.
Down there, Lecom contributed $300,000. How many years?
Yeah, that's not. You look at Hammond and Vincent. A lot of people ain't happy, but at least it's half every year.
True.
Okay, but would I like more? Absolutely. But in Pittsburgh, they get less. So we're kind of fortunate here that we get that much. But that doesn't mean we can't try to get more. But the other ones have to come on board.
That's right.
Lecom, Gannon, Mercyhurst. You look at all these, big nonprofits that, it hurts. Like the Parking Authority, they give us a contribution every year. We need more of that. I mean, people don't realize that, nonprofits are a large part of the community, yet, I mean, do we need a car? I mean, car's nice, a fire truck's nice, but we can, we really need help on a large basis of...
Gladly donate 3 police cars in lieu of taxes.
But I'd like to see them, adopt some police officers or firemen and put some guys on the street.
True.
The other day when we had a fire, we had to call in the volunteers.
Backup, yeah.
Thank God we have those programs, but you think about that,
Typical on both ends.
I mean, we all joke about firemen sitting around, but you know what?
When they go to work, they're working.
Well, yeah, you don't want them to work. You really want them there in case.
To see them playing pinochle and not going out.
But when they do go out and they're short-handed.
But then what irritates me, when they do go out for groceries, they have to take a whole unit. And they know they're going to be there for X amount of hours. Why doesn't the commander, the chief commander of the fire department, ask what they need, and he can go get the groceries?
Well, in the old days, John, I knew most of the guys that did this, and they used to bring the fire truck around like to Walmart or something, or the old what was the old store there, Super Duper.
Super Duper.
But a lot of it was community outreach. The kids would climb on the truck, and the guys would do a little talking, and they weren't far from the firehouse. I'd never really had a problem with that because it was kind of like, the police car that goes and parks and talks to the kids,
True, but that's a different situation. The money's tight.
Well, but the fire trucks, they used to get them out just to warm them up a little bit, get another guy used to driving them.
Well, that's not the place to learn with a big rig. I don't agree with you there.
Well, they did in the Army, don't you, John?
Yeah.
Were you in the Army or what?
They wouldn't take me.
Well, they handed me the keys one day, and they said, nobody can drive a standard, so you're the man. They took me out, and they said, you get some OJT.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Just like the firemen, where are you going to practice?
That's
right?
true.
They said, just don't hit nothing.
Well, it's a real ton to drive a big rig around, because you can't see that right side.
Yeah, but those guys are good. They have guys that are, learning to drive, but every once in a while, taking that truck out, like when we take it out to the light up night or something,
Well, yeah, well, they all have CDLs, so they've all gone through it all.
Not all the guys don't, I don't think.
You have all CDLs.
You think all the firemen got that?
Yes, I would bet dollars to donuts.
Well, let's find out, because my wife wants a peanut donut. They're real bad.
There you go. I have one quick thing before I leave. You were talking about the parking situation, one side or the other?
Yeah.
Who does the enforcing when they don't?
Basically, the parking authority.
Well, they're forgetting a few places, and they're forgetting Poplar Street, they're forgetting Old French Road up by the Vets Hospital, and Poplar down by that children's place and all that.
Well, in fairness to them, John, the police are supposed to do it.
They can't do that.
No, so the parking authority doesn't have anybody assigned up there permanently.
That's true. Well, they'll go if you call them.
Yeah, they will come. Like they had the Briggs and Lewis problem.
True. That wonderful guy in the middle, he's looking for a place for
He's got a little shop that...
Yeah, it's called Makerspace.
Studios?
Yeah.
I can tell him a place that's loaded. All you got to do is talk to the fellow, I think he's up in New York, on Liberty Street. All those stores are completely out of there.
Oh, you mean at the Liberty Plaza?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he'd like it rent-free, though, if he could.
Well, you talk to him.
Yeah.
Do you know the guy's name, or is it on the sign over there?
It's Levin.
Oh, Levin.
Well, thank you.
Owns a lot up there behind the Plaza Dental and those other places. He's the one that he put the great big concrete there to keep the tractor trailers from parking in there.
Levin, L-E-V-I-N?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be great because our organization likes to fix things.
I mean, there's a lot of space there. The public library's down there, or
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, thank you.
But it's completely empty. I don't know what's going on. Everybody seems to, it's like a rat jumping off the sinking ship.
Where's that at?
Liberty Plaza.
Liberty Plaza?
You go by there and it's unbelievable. All the way up from the corner, all the way to, I think the state store's in there, there's a smoking place in there, a bookstore, People's, and that's about it.
You know, even West Erie Plaza is going through some changes too.
Like, yeah, they're doing all kinds of remodeling and everything else, but that's on the Mill Creek side.
Yeah, you know, I think plazas are starting to suffer a little bit.
True.
But Liberty Plaza used to be a solid place when I was a kid.
Right. So was out there in the West Erie Plaza with Dipson. That place was all loaded.
We were joking the other day about movie theaters, you know, the lack thereof.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, Councilman Brennan, he wants to have an ordinance where, we're not saying you can't tear down a building, but, think about it before you do it, right?
Yeah.
And the architect was telling us they tried everything in the world to keep the old theater open at West Erie Plaza, and it just didn't work.
True.
It just, it's sad, but that's,
Oh, you got TV, you got DVRs, you got DVDs. Why would I take my wife and go and spend $35 to see a movie? By the time you get out, and all you're going to get is a can of pop or a glass of pop.
$6.
Box of popcorn.
$6, John.
Pardon?
$6.
Is for what? Popcorn?
No, $6 getting in a movie.
That's it's your senior citizens joint.
Well, you're a senior citizen.
No, but I'm saying, when I was a kid, it was a quarter.
Yeah, but I mean, you can go down there any night.
Teacher.
Unless it's a special one, it's $6. Then you get your free refill of popcorn, John. Hey, I'll meet you down there some night.
I used to like to go to Dipson's because they had fresh popcorn, not out of the box.
Nobody had fresh popcorn.
Did, and they had the seats that retracted back.
Hey, everybody popped their corn, put it in a bag, and then they popped some new one at the...
Now you know where I get my free popcorn?
Where?
Up at Perico's. He has a little popcorn machine in his place there.
Yeah, when he sees me coming, though, they turn it off.
Jason should. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.
You too.
He does.
You know what are nice theaters? I went to some, I think it was AMC in Lakewood, Ohio. It's fantastic. There's like these seats, and they recline, and you can lay back, and
Yeah, I was in one in...
and it's only like $10.
I was in one in Chicago like that.
Yeah, we need one of those.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, guys, you're sounding better, huh? You're feeling better?
Yeah, a lot better. It took me a long time, but yeah, I feel bad for Mr. Fatika.
Yeah.
But I was just going to bring that up, too.
Yeah.
One quick thing before that. Beet juice, you've heard of beet juice being up in Minnesota.
You mean a theater?
No, it's for the roads, guys. Beet juice.
No, I never heard that.
Yes, beet juice, lowers the temperature of the road. You don't have to use salt.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Up there in Minnesota, it's kind of weird. They don't throw a lot of salt up there.
I don't need it.
Huh?
The beet. They just take the brine of the beet juice when they're done,
Wow.
manufacturing the beets.
I got to check into that up there.
It works better than salt or brine or anything.
Because I noticed up in, outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul, they don't use a lot of salt on their roads at all.
They're using beet juice, Cass.
That must be it then.
I hate beets. I'll just dump the whole can on the road. That's going to help.
I'm going to check into that next time. I'll be going back up there shortly.
Yeah, ask about that up there. I guess they grow the beets up there too, so it really works out for them, and it's less hazardous to the bridges and the roads. It doesn't cause the corrosion.
Yeah, because that salt is terrible.
Yep.
When we get up there, taste it. Let me know. Just go, beets.
No, you don't want to eat it off the road. Go ahead, sir. You got the phone yet?
Phil Fatika passing, how is county council going to replace him?
I don't know what their rules are, but generally, they will make like when City Hall, we've lost people here. They will take applications from the public, and then council will vote. The council will vote to put a temporary replacement on there, and then depending where it is in the election cycle, the person, if it's in year 3 or 4, they'll let that person finish and then run for re-election if they want. But if it's in year 1 or 2, then they'll have a special election.
Oh, he just won his.
Okay, so then what they'll do is they'll put a temporary person in there, and then they'll
his term.
have a special election. I'm guessing that's the way it is, because even when I was on the school board, we lost somebody, And that's the way it was. You vote on a replacement. Now, how you find those replacements? A lot of times they'll announce in the paper anybody can apply for it.
Well, okay, so Kathy Dahlkemper will not be involved in the choice.
You know, I don't know. I don't know their charter. I can't say for sure. I know it is here at the city. You know, council would pick it, and then if the council couldn't come to a decision, there would be a judge over at the Court of Common Pleas that would do it. But she may have power. I don't know how their charter is, sir. But I would guess it was more of council's pick.
I see her assistant finally said something on TV.
I hope she doesn't have any power over this choice.
You know,
she is just...
You know what, I'll kind of ask somebody
nice
about it.
Be nice, it's Christmas time.
I'll ask a friend of mine who worked at the county and see if I can find out what their policy is. But here at the city, that's how we did it. There's been a couple replacements. Some people, if you remember Mr. Schember, he was one. You remember Joe Schember?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a replacement.
Republican.
And no, he was a Democrat, I think.
Sure he was a Republican.
No, John Evans was. And a lot of people maybe don't just want to do it in a short term. Years ago, there was a gentleman, trying to think of the name, was it Dombrowski, or he took over for a councilman one time too that either quit or illness or something. So yeah, that's the usual procedure, but I'm not sure how the county works. But I'm sure council will pick it over there.
If I get a great nominee, that'd be Barry Grossman. Get him on council.
If he wants to,
I tell you what, I thought after looking what he did after he got beat, this guy did a fantastic job.
But he always said he didn't want to be a politician for a long time.
But he did a fantastic job at the courthouse and the library.
Maybe he would do it for a short time, though. You know that.
Yeah. I think we need a guy like that on there now.
I like Barry. He's a little outspoken.
At first, me and him had little problems, but after seeing what he did when he was on county council, and
maybe you want to run for it, sir, right?
No. Barry just ran against Kathy for when she took over. I mean, and now he's done. Supposedly, is that what you heard?
I hope she don't, because she's gonna get beat anybody who runs against her.
You mean is Barry done?
Yeah, I mean, what? You heard he doesn't want to be in politics anymore?
Well, no, I always heard him say that he was going to do it for a short time, but he was never going to be a career man, He would run his terms and then,
Well, I mean, he tried to get reelected. He ran against Kathy.
Well, I mean, I think that was okay, but I don't think, like, his plans past that were ever to be, a politician lifetime or anything. I think he's got so many businesses and things to do, but I think he might be able to be talked in for a short term,
Hey, Barry Grossman was the best county executive we've had in probably the last 20 years.
Well, it scared a lot of people. He wasn't afraid to, say the truth, He was very strong-minded in what he wanted done, And
I didn't think he raised taxes while he was a county exec.
Well, he made a lot of changes,
Yeah, but I don't think he raised taxes with the time he was in there.
I just saw him, sir. If I see him again, I'll ask him if he's interested.
Well, I mean, he kept a lid on the taxes.
Yeah.
Then he then proposed this outrageous radio system that's going to cost $30 million. I mean, right now, when we're laying off people at GE, which is going to have other businesses laying off because they're not going to be making for GE.
Well, you got to blame for that. And right after 911, everybody was in we got to get everybody integrated.
Yeah.
And, the state police got to be able to talk to the city, and the city's got to be able to talk to Mill Creek, and we got to be able to talk to the feds. And all these plans were great, but there was never no money coming down.
We sure got the money now.
And where's the money got? It always goes down to the lowest source, and you said it, sir. All these plans that the federal government wanted to see done, and now we got, $30 million. It's just...
$30 million. What can you do with $30 million, especially in the city of Erie? We could do a lot.
It is scary, though, when you think about it.
$30 million.
We are not New York City, we're not Chicago, we're not Los Angeles. We don't have the kind of tax base for $30 million for a radio system.
I know. Not being there, I don't know. I know there was a push by the feds that everybody had to be integrated, But like most programs, there's never no money that follows.
We ain't got the money for that, Kaz. We ain't got the money. I've had it, not now. Hey, maybe later when we get some jobs in here. Not now.
I get scared because people say I'm a doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom, but if you look around, I mean, it's scary that there's not a lot of money. There's not a lot of great jobs anywhere. Not even in large parts of the Commonwealth here.
Look at the Transit Authority. They're going to have all kinds of money coming down. Now the county wants it because they're getting money.
But it is scary, sir.
You there?
He had already hung up. So
he brings,
now the Transit Authority.
All these programs are great, but there's never no money coming down from the top. So then locally you got to scramble. Where are you going to get $30 million out of here? I mean, the population base hasn't changed in Erie County.
Yeah, but how about the hotel and the parking garage? Can we afford to pay for that too? What's the total amount for that?
I can't tell you because I'm not over there, but I'm telling you this.
Yeah, but just take a firm figure. 50 million?
Around figure. I'm not going to throw one out.
Just a guess.
The bad part is they are subsidizing it with room taxes and other stuff. Okay, that's how they're doing. A lot of that's room tax. If those hotels go bad, they're going to be in trouble, okay? That's why when a private guy was supposed to build them, he built them to how he can, you look at Nick, right? He's not, some people don't like him, but his businesses are his business, okay?
Yeah, but he's trying to get that Chris money. I don't know if that Chris
money you don't see him, but he never builds what he don't think will make money. You don't see anything. If some closes, some goes in again, right? But you don't see any of the hotels closing because there's a market. I mean, you're not going to get a Radisson Blue in Erie. Okay, you're not. You're not going to get they wanted a Marriott. That wasn't going to happen, okay? Erie's not a Marriott town. That's not to say anything bad about it, just that we don't have the base or the draw here that people that would pay that. Like if you go to Minneapolis, they got a Radisson Blue. But you got the Mall of America.
You got people
that come here and do a lot of business in Minneapolis.
But you don't have no businesses here. Like before, you had GE. They brought all corporate people in.
Well, I mean, even when those guys come in here, okay, they don't stay here for extended periods where they be in a Radisson, okay, or something like that. They're probably very happy being in a Hilton Garden or a Courtyard by Marriott. Yes.
We're gone.
Are we on the air?
Nope. He gave us the 1 minute sign.
Okay. Have a beautiful week.
Well, I got to remind you guys, have a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
But it's also another holy day. For my Jewish friends, it's Hanukkah.
Hanukkah today.
So we want to wish all our Jewish friends a happy Hanukkah.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
And Christmas.
Merry Christmas is
coming.
coming.
Christmas.
And Festivus. All those things.
And Ronnie, it's always a pleasure. One of these days we got to get all your questions answered.
Yeah, you've been bucking me last week and this week.
Well, the public call, that's their show, so.
I know it's their show, but
14th.
I think we will be. Yeah.
Okay, good.
What's that?
We'll see you next week then.
Okay.
14.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we'll be on.
What's
We're
on
off
the
that day?
14th?
We're on that day.
Yeah, we're on for here.
What's on the 14th? That's trouble.
Nothing. I just wanted to make sure that you were not closed for some holiday.
I don't think we are.
I don't know. I got a dentist appointment.